So this one is straight out of the Matrix. It is taking the concept of IVF pregnancy to all new level. Have you ever heard of an artificial womb? Well, today we're going to dive into the unbelievable world of embryo fertilization and technology that makes it possible for those that may have difficulty. Think of exploring more options. Be sure to watch until the end and share what you think about the ethics of artificial bones in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's dive in. Louise Brown of Britain is recognized as the first child born through in vitro fertilization in 1978. In vitro fertilization, often known as IVF, is a process in which the sperm from the father and the egg from the mother are removed from their respective bodies and fertilized in a petri dish. The embryo was then transferred into the womb of a woman, who may be the biological mother of the child or a surrogate, and then the baby was born at the appropriate time. Now, the world's first artificial womb factory is getting ready to bear a baby to full term inside of a birth pod, similar to what you could envision in a science fiction story. The technology offers to be able to provide parents with a menu from which they can select the features of their child, such as eye color, height, and strength. A novel idea that promises to reinvent the evolution of humankind has provided an alarming view into the future as a result of a concept that has been introduced recently. The world's first artificial womb facility, EctoLife, plans to produce 30,000 babies each year in transparent pods that are designed to replicate the precise circumstances that exist within the mother's uterus. The CRISPR-Cas9 technology, which has been around for a while now in the world, will be utilized in the editing of the genes. Heishem Al Ghaili, a Berlin-based biotechnologist and scientific communicator, is the biotechnologist behind the seemingly weird and wild proposal at the womb factory dubbed EctoLife. He says it will enable infertile couples to produce a kid and become the real parental figures of their own offspring. The first facility of its kind anywhere in the world. The originator of EctoLife, Ghaili, claims that the foundation of his concept is more than 50 years worth of groundbreaking scientific study. It would appear that the goal of the EctoLife artificial womb is to decrease human suffering and lessen the likelihood of the need for C-sections. With EctoLife, issues like preterm delivery and the need for cesarean section will become something of the past. When exactly will this facility start accepting customers? When it comes to the allotted amount of time, everything relies on ethical norms. At this time, research on human embryos cannot continue for longer than 14 days. Because of ethical considerations, embryos can no longer be kept past the 14-day mark. If these ethical constraints are lifted, EctoLife estimates that it will take them between 10 and 15 years before EctoLife becomes extensively used everywhere. In addition to this, there must be a 5-year period of public education and awareness in order to assist people in becoming more open to the technology. The technology is already there. The only thing stopping the concept from becoming a reality is whether or not it would be acceptable. An explanation of the synthetic womb. Your child will be able to grow in an atmosphere free of infections when you use EctoLife. Each pod is constructed to imitate, as closely as possible, the conditions that prevail within the uterus of the mother. A single structure has the capacity to produce up to 30,000 lab-grown babies in a single calendar year. A sophisticated digital screen will provide parents and staff members at EctoLife with the ability to view data in real time regarding the growth and development of the infant. In addition, one can use a mobile application on their phone to examine the data. The sensors on the pods are able to monitor the baby's vital indicators, such as the baby's heart rate, temperatures, blood pressure, rate of breathing, and oxygen saturation, and project that information onto the screen. Through the built-in speakers of the pods, the baby will be able to listen to a playlist that the parents have selected specifically for them. If the parents so choose, the artificial intelligence system can also detect any potential genetic anomalies. The facility will operate using only environmental-friendly forms of energy. Each cluster of pods has a connection to 2 of the bioreactors in the center. In one of the bioreactors, there will be a liquid solution that will stand in for the amniotic fluid that would normally surround the developing fetus inside the uterus of the mother. The babies are connected to the second bioreactor via an artificial umbilical cord, which allows any waste products that are created by the newborns to be transmitted to the second bioreactor. But how is the child born? Once the baby reaches full term, the birthing process can be triggered whenever the parents want it to be. All it takes is the push of a button. You will have no trouble extracting your child from the growing pod after the artificial womb has finished releasing the amniotic fluid. Heishem Al Ghaili, a biotechnologist who is the brains behind this idea, claims that it provides a solution for women who have had their uterus removed by surgery due to cancer or other issues. It also has the potential to assist nations that are suffering from significant population decrease, such as Japan, Bulgaria, and South Korea. Fetuses, up until this point, have always required a living uterus in order to develop and flourish. However, a number of research initiatives being conducted all over the world point to the possibility that one day this will no longer be the case. Even though this research is just starting off, it already has the potential to revolutionize the field of human fertility therapies. Even while these fertility problems could be caused by physiological concerns in either one or both couples, it is typically the woman or the partner who has a uterus who is the one who has to endure the physical toll of intrusive fertility procedures such as IVF. However, the rapidly increasing scientific research taking on all over the world is beginning to open the door to the prospect of artificial pregnancy. The process of growing a kid outside of the womb is known as ectogenesis, and there is already a form of it in medical practice today. Partial ectogenesis is the process that takes place when premature infants are moved to an incubator so that they can continue their development in a neonatal unit. The idea of an artificial womb, on the other hand, is an entirely different matter. Such a womb has the potential to prolong the amount of time that a fetus can gestate outside of the body and even has the potential to make the natural womb obsolete. The moral problem with ectogenesis. To determine if the possible health benefits should take precedence over ethical norms and rules, society needs to take into consideration many factors. The concept of creating a human being outside of the confines of a woman's body requires careful consideration, as does the definition of what it means to be human. Our understanding of what it means to be a human being is challenged when we consider the possibility of generating and developing a human being from the point of fertilization to the point of birth. We are of the opinion that a human being who develops inside of an artificial womb is still a human being and deserving of human dignity. Humanhood should not be limited to the development of an organism that is born from a human, but should also encompass the creation of an organism that looks humanly and consists of the essential genetic code of the Homo sapiens species. However, the cultural and ethical problems that this technology creates can be extremely difficult to solve. How would people react if having a children did not require a woman to become pregnant in the first place? Many pregnant women experience a psychological and even a bodily connection to the fetus that they are carrying. In addition, there is a possibility that the absence of human pregnancy may influence epigenetic processes and result in a different mother-child bond. It is possible, however, to make the case that pregnancy is not necessarily a necessary step in the process of human growth and bonding. This is due to the fact that typical human development takes place after gestation in many families who have adopted children. In addition, the burden of medical responsibility for sustaining the embryos in an artificial placenta would fall upon our already overburdened healthcare system. Should the money for this technology come from health insurance? Even if growing fetuses in artificial surroundings, taking fetuses before they are viable, and putting them in these artificial wombs are still a long way off in the future, it is nevertheless worthwhile to take note of some of the legal barriers that society will have to face when the time comes. Even while ectogenesis will not have a significant impact on the debate over abortion, it does present the possibility of further engaging in meaningful conversations addressing the rights of fetuses and those of women. Whose rights should take precedence? Leave a comment below with your thoughts and feedback.